was just hitting its stride at the end of June 1979 in East Quogue, New York, a hamlet on the eastern end of Long Island. I'd been married less than a year to Johnny, the love of my life. We were your classic New York couple of the 1970s, an actress and a former Wall Street suit turned cab driver chef. My dad, over there with a little red carnation, my dad used to say, "Hey, you two lovebirds, are you ever going to get a real job?" We had moved to California right after our wedding, but Johnny was returning for the summer to chef at a fabulous restaurant in town, and I had just wrapped a great part on a feature, so I grabbed a one-way ticket to visit him and my family. Our days were filled with early morning bike rides to the beach, picnics on the canal, and late-night adventures, stealing away to make love in the dunes or in a dark, empty boat under the stars. Hey, it was the 70s. Nobody looked, nobody cared. We were madly in love, and life was loose and free. At the restaurant, I'd fill in as the hostess, and throughout the night, I'd hop onto the big baby grand in the main dining room and belt out a few show tunes. On this particular Saturday night, I was fashionably decked out in my suit of armor of the day. Polyester bell-bottoms with matching polyester blouse and a matching polyester fitted jacket. Yes, I was 100% polyester. It was the 10:30 peak dinner hour, and I had just sung "Nobody Does It Like Me" and was heading back up to my hostess station with the sweet sound of laughter and applause still ringing in my ears. Someone asked for the owner, so I quickly turned around and made my way back through the crowded dining room to fetch him and briskly pushed open the double swing doors to the pantry. Push! I was in. No turning back. Just as I pushed, two waitresses were inside the pantry preparing Flambe desserts. Bananas Foster, to be exact. One dessert was already lit, and as they attempted to pour the flame on the second dessert, the first flame jumped into the Flambe bottle, propelling it like a rocket into the middle of the tiny pantry. The bottle was spinning uncontrollably and spewing liquid flame into the air. Spinning and spewing and push! I'm in. I'm in the ball of flame. I am the ball of flame. Trapped, unmerciful heat, blinded by the light, hands up, desperately trying to get my flaming long hair out of my face. First thought, denial. It's not me, it's them, the waitresses who I could still see through the oily flames. Second thought, not really a thought, but a feeling. I felt something and I saw something in the distance beyond the flame. It was a woman. She was still and beautiful. She didn't say anything. She didn't do anything. She was just there for me. And an astonishing feeling of peace and surrender washed over me, and I knew I was going to die. And it was okay. And then just as quickly, it wasn't. It wasn't okay. Third thought, I gotta get the fuck out of this furnace, because it really hurts a lot and it's probably going to kill me. My closest exit was right back into the main dining room where I had just sang "Nobody Does It Like Me." My polyester ensemble is now fully engulfed in flame, and I am on fire from the top of my head to my knees. And I push those pantry doors and I come right back in for an encore. Now, let me just stop here to say really quickly, I went to Catholic school and I have a really long list of resentments, and this one is right on the top. Those fucking nuns never taught us to stop, drop, and roll. So I'm not stopping, dropping, or rolling. I'm running. I'm running. A patron, who we later found out was the local dentist, jumps up, drops me down, and rolls me as he smothers the flames with his jacket. Apparently, he didn't have the nuns. I'm lying there, very awake and very aware, and literally feeling my flesh burning, and I'm asking, crying out, "Are my tits okay? Are my tits okay?" I mean, it's not like I was a showgirl or anything. I just always loved my tits. And so did my new husband. Now, the bartender, he runs over to the firehouse, which is directly across the street. He grabs the one volunteer fireman on duty, and he races over and takes charge. The fireman and the dentist start cutting, ripping my still smoldering melted polyester off, and swiftly pouring ice water all over my body. Kind of a nightmare for a girl who didn't always love her body, to have her clothes cut off while the rest of the room watched in horror. Meanwhile, my new husband is having his own nightmare in the back, putting out the flames in the pantry. Never thinking I was anywhere near the kitchen, Johnny runs into the dining room. He knows it's bad. He can smell the burned clothes and flesh, especially the hair. And he pushes his way through the crowd to see that it's his new bride. In sickness and in health till, oh well, you know the rest. Here it gets blurry. Speeding ambulance, small local hospital. ER doctor not up to the task and wants to admit me. A salty, seasoned nurse in the cubicle waits for the doctor to leave and looks right at John and says, "Oh, she doesn't want to go?" I'm confused. Johnny's not. He moves closer to her and anxiously whispers, "Where?" She's quick and specific. Nassau County Burn Unit. He runs for the payphone. She moves to me and she whispers, "We're going to get you out of here to the best burn unit on the island." That night, I had a host of angels watching over me. The spirit woman, the dentist, the fireman, my very own nurse, Jackie, and Johnny, my love, who's always been listening. Early next morning, I'm helicoptered to the burn unit. This part sucks. The treatment for life-threatening burns is called hydrotherapy debridement. They lower you on a gurney into an industrial-sized vat of water, and they deeply scrub your burnt body to remove all of the dead flesh. They tie you down. They don't knock you out with some fabulous Percocet or morphine. You need to be awake so they know your breaking point. After a few hours, when it's finally over, they give me something to sleep, and when I wake up, it's Monday. I slowly open my eyes, and I see my entire family around my bed, and I think, oh, this isn't good. Everyone is in sterile gowns, gloves, booties, masks. My husband, my parents, my siblings. 2 of my sisters had to get on a plane to get here. All I can see is their eyes, and it's impossible for everyone to hide their fear as they try to comfort me. I kept pleading with them, crying out, "Is my face burned? Is my face burned?" My family is all I have to verify that my face is not completely burned off. There's not one mirror in the burn unit. They're absolutely forbidden. I can honestly say that looking into their eyes was maybe the most frightened I've ever felt in my life. Not knowing the extent of my injuries, especially to my face, led to behavior that I can only qualify as narcissistically insane. I was a kid. I was a 29-year-old newlywed and an actor without a mirror in a burn unit. I became a mad woman about the mirrors so I could see how badly my face was burned. By this time, the doctors were getting me up and had taken some of the dressings off my body. Unable to stand up straight, I found myself hunched over like a charred cave woman. No one was talking about it, but apparently I'd lost most of my hair. I was burned on both my arms, particularly my left hand, which took a beating from pushing my flaming hair out of my face. My front torso, the top of my legs, my knees, and a shout out for bell bottoms. Why? Because the material flared and out and away, and they spared my lower legs. And my lovely young breasts, beautiful, strong, and burnt. The wire from my bra leaving a ring like a branded cow. Everywhere I looked, my body was ravaged by the fire, and I was horrified that my face was in the same condition. Fuck! Wasn't it already hard enough to get work with a face than without one? So now I'm on a mission. I'm on a solo mission to find a mirror or anything that resembles a reflection tool. Shower heads, faucets, towel racks, they were all treated with layers of dullness. After visiting hours, I'd go into the bathroom and like a convict working on her escape route, I'd use a tweezer to scrape away the dullness on the towel rack. I'd do a little bit every night, cover it up with the towels so the nurses wouldn't see. I was finally able to get a very small area of reflection, and it took me days to inspect my face. My husband and family had been insisting that my face was getting better, and I very slowly started to believe them. I spent 4 weeks in the burn unit with daily doses of debridement treatment. It was also a large teaching hospital, and every morning I had a team of 8 to 10 young residents inspecting my body. After a while, I started referring to myself as the Flambe Floozie. And that was my nickname for the entire stay. I hid behind my humor in order to bear the humiliation of exposing my grotesque body to a group of mostly young men my age. But the one young man who really counted never flinched. Johnny was always by my side. That first week, frantic and fearful, I asked him to retrieve my tiny childhood Bible from my family home. I wasn't religious, but he brought it to my bedside. He kept clutching it tightly as he stood there and said, "Peg, you're still going to be fun after this, aren't you?" I have always loved a man who can make me laugh. The night I came home from the hospital, he lovingly explored every inch of my body to understand where and how we would get through this together. He held me as I sobbed after a torturous visit to the Flambe maker's insurance company, the company doctor. I wasn't prepared for the humiliation of standing alone in a cold basement office on Park Avenue in just my underpants while strangers took photos of me. The sound of the click, click, click of the camera shutter is etched in my memory forever. There were big and little hurdles. My fucking eyebrows never really came back to their former glory. 2 little stubs that require extra coloring every day is a small price to pay. And I went from a 1970s bustier look to wearing what is called a Jobst bodysuit at all times for that very first year. And let me tell you, that thing's not going to get you fucked in the dunes. We returned to California, and exactly 1 year after the accident, I was back on stage in a 1920s musical with a fabulous costume designer who draped me in chiffon everywhere I needed it. We sued the parent company of the Flambe maker. It took years for us to finally settle out of court. No money could ever repay us for what we went through. But the settlement enabled us to buy a home for our beautiful growing family, and Johnny started his own successful business. I may have lost my eyebrows forever, but we do own a house in Silver Lake. The wounds are long healed, and the scars, you know what? They are what they are, and I really hardly notice them anymore. My own built-in survival skills help me to get through the fire and its immediate aftermath. But without my husband's unconditional love and his unwavering lust for me, all of these 38 years, I would not be able to feel as whole and as beautiful as I do today. Sometimes it takes 2 to heal 1. Johnny and I have a favorite cartoon that he gave me as an anniversary gift a couple of years ago. Caption, "Till death do us part" is for quitters. Thank you.